Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on Podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on Podcast. Just realised I cleared my throat with it unmuted instead of muted, so that is off to a great start. I am obviously it's Mike hosting still, and a couple of guests joining me today. Allow me to interrupt the Christmas, and joining us on today's panel we have David and Chris. Hello guys, how are you?
Hello, Mike.
Yeah, hello, Mike.
Lovely. I hope you've had a lovely Christmas break so far. Made obviously all the better after Boxing Day. But has it been nice and restful for you guys?
Pretty restful. It's just me, the other half, and the rabbit. So yeah, and the rabbit is keeping herself to herself. So yeah,
perfect, lovely. And David, how was yours?
Yeah, all good. But family, all good.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah,
Too much food.
Way too much food. Yeah. I christened it F-It Fortnight, so it's like nothing counts. Nothing counts in this fortnight. We're all right.
Right.
The little one has taken on the tradition of her sister from all those years ago, and they refuse to wake up on Christmas morning. I'm sort of awake at sort of 5 o'clock in the morning, going, Santa's, no, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, come on, man, what's this? Where's the sense of jeopardy? You expect him to come? 1 year, I'm just going to go, there's no, he's not coming. That's it. But we are going to talk about the football. First of all, I know it's just the three of us, two guests, but realistically, we do have a secret guest on today, a special celebrity, don't we, Chris?
We do, yes, because yesterday I had the great honour of being Jenny the Giraffe, which was the first time that I'd been our mascot, and yeah, it was. It was quite a thrill, and though we did get changed in the boiler room,
Nice.
Reggie the Red and Jenny, so which the boiler room also doubles as somebody's office.
Excellent.
Yeah, which is nice, and they also asked if we wanted to use a lift, and I kind of thought, okay, if a lift is involved, maybe I put the head on afterwards.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was good. It was good fun, and I was doing quite a bit of kind of like charging around because the general expectation seemed to be that Jenny would be there for the entire match.
Okay.
Yeah, and so when we scored our first goal, I was kind of like I was kind of near the exit just in case I needed to go out and have a breather, because Jenny, bless her neck's heavy and there's no frame in there. It's just resting on your shoulders with a bit of Velcro and just the hope that I ran to be with our fans for the celebrations of the first goal, and then I was thinking, oh, hang on, I might get in trouble if I'm blocking someone's view of the kind of like the aftermath, and so I kind of like run back quickly, and then I do the same thing again for the second goal, and a couple of people sort of had said to friends of mine, Jenny seems a bit different today. I was like, yeah. Jenny's going a bit nuts. So I don't know when I'll be invited back, but it was fantastic. And one of the lovely things was that I never really noticed is that there are some kids who look at Jenny's eyes And it's really quite lovely because Jenny's eyes are nowhere near where the human's eyes are because I am not a tall person at all. I could not be mistaken for a giraffe. And so like so Jenny's my view from Jenny is kind of like pretty much at the bottom of her neck. But it was just lovely watching the really little ones kind of going up and say hello to Jenny. So
I think, Chris, you might have revealed some trade secrets here, because I was under the false impression that Jenny was always played by Daniel Craig, and it turns out that it's
no.
So what's the story? Is it a different Jenny every week, or is there a regular cast of Jennies?
There are regular Jennies, but they were the regular Jennies were on holiday, and it is not often that we are invited by away clubs, or by clubs to come to away matches. So. So they approached me to sort of say, "Oh, would you mind?" And oh yeah, go on then, that'd be fun. So got there for 12 o'clock and got changed at 1:30 and was kind of like doing meet and greet with alongside Reggie, who was. He was a very graceful host and took good care of us, so which was really cool.
Sorry, I missed who.
Reggie the Red is Crawley's mascot, who is a kind of like a devil, and we ended up walking up the tunnel. I ended up doing a kickabout because there were some sort of like 10-year-olds who were having a bit of a play on the pitch, sort of like fully supervised, and they were supposed to be there. We were primarily in the Crawley half, but I did wave every now and again to Sutton, and Omar particularly waved back. And it was quite lovely at the end because I was down with the fans when the final whistle went, and I was like, oh wow, the fans waving back at me. I was like, yeah, you're the mascot. You're in the mascot costume. Of course they're going to be waving back at you.
There's a couple of points there, Chris. You're going to regret the running because there is a mascot race that happens once a year, so you're going to be hooked. You're going to be hooked up for that.
That conversations have been had. Yes.
And the kids, they all. It's been said many times, especially when the mascot race. I think we did it the first time. There was a big queue of kids around Jenny because of the eyes.
Yes.
And lots of kids' comments back were something like Jenny's the friendliest looking mascot. Yeah. Which is it's quite sweet, really.
Yeah.
But yes, it's still all a bit odd that we have a giraffe, but it was based on it being brown and yellow. That's it.
Yeah. I was being asked quite a lot by people at Crawley, and like we were dishing out I Met Jenny stickers to various police and various other people, and some of them were wanting it on the backing paper of the sticker so that they could hand it out to their kids when they got home, and it was lovely, really nice. So
excellent.
Yes, but it means I didn't get to see the team sheet, so I was having to figure out who was to segue into your next question.
Yes, it was. I was just going to say, we'll start with you, David. The lineup, late change for Donovan. I had 11 out of 11. I was feeling very, very happy, and then suddenly Donovan was withdrawn. What did we think about that late change? Did it kind of impact the team at all, do you reckon, or they just take it in their stride?
I think it's all part of it, isn't it? I didn't feel like it made a massive impact on me. I think we would have preferred to have Donovan starting, right? But I think Josh did a pretty good job there, and I'm not sure it had a massive impact on the game or the result or how it all went, really. Do you?
I didn't, from my limited peripheral vision. But
I mean, we signed Josh because he could play either side or up front. We've not really we've got that 8 million strikers. We've not really had much chance to see him up front, so it was nice to sort of see him in a slightly different role. How did you feel he did?
pretty well. I mean, we won 2-1.
Like, come on, I've played in teams where we've won, and I can assure you, I've not played well at all.
Yeah, that might well be the case, Mike. But I think that in general terms, if you go and you win away from home and you win 2-1, then, I mean, on the basis it's all about scoring goals and scoring more goals than the opposition. I didn't think we did well. So I thought the team, it was pretty good yesterday. We just briefly commented before we started, Mike, that it wasn't a particularly eventful first half, was it? As in terms of like the old traditional metrics of goal mouth action and shots on goal and there weren't very many ooh-ah moments. But at the same time, I think, were stronger and better and limited their chances to even fewer than the ones we had. So pretty good, I thought.
Yeah. So, just obviously you didn't see the lineup, Chris, but what were you thinking sort of ahead of the match? Was there confidence or?
Some confidence, yeah. Just because Crawley had lost to Hartlepool. And just from chatting to people in the bar, I was thinking, okay, we might do all right here. And also I figured, like with the Orient match, like we were always going to lose to them, we were always likely to. So, and we did all right in the first half of that. So I'd hoped that would give the players some confidence. And we seem. And also, we don't tend to do too bad over Christmas. I mean, I always have very, very fond memories of Omar at Woking. No, that is true. I mean, I was feeling quite smug at halftime because we did look like we were fortune tellers last week, and the Stephen from Crawley was giving it that we could have a game as good as the World Cup, and we're all going, we won't have a game anywhere near like the World Cup final. And I even was so confident I went out and designed a new T-shirt to say it's one for the purists, and I was like, right, sales are going up, and then second half immeasurably better.
Omar nearly scored an absolutely spectacular goal.
Yes,
but it ended up sort of setting up Joe. How did we sort of feel about Omar's bicycle kick? David,
we felt good about it, but we felt good about it, and we felt even better when the rebound went in. And I had a nervous moment before Joe Kizzy hit the rebound. I thought, I really hope this is going to go where we all want it to go, and not ballooning off somewhere.
Yeah. I think had it been another yard and a half further out, it was heading a definite upwards trajectory. It was like,
but because we've been a bit short on goals this season, so anytime you see a goal from open play, or more or less open play, it came for a throw-in, didn't it? But it was almost open play. I think I feel personally relieved and happy when we get a goal from open play these days. It's just been a bit the goals have been a bit sparse, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, Joe. It's been a perceived lack of goals. I mean, I love the fact that I'm sure it was Omar. I've quoted it as Omar anyways, but a couple of weeks ago in an interview, I think against Northampton, where Joe had a couple of chances to win the match, and Omar basically said, well, if he could head the ball with his eyes open, we probably would have been doing all right. It's a perceived lack of goals from him because of last year. But then he said in the interview himself, at this time last year, he only had one goal. So, I mean, how are you? Obviously, he's playing a slightly different role for us at the moment as well. Are you feeling there's a lack of goals from him at the moment, or just a general across the team, everyone?
I think so. I don't think that he's underperforming. And also, like, in his position, scoring goals is a bonus.
Yeah,
his main thing is not conceding them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd much rather have him kind of like at the back, upending people and getting away with it. And if it's a straight choice.
Yeah.
So
I think he's been fantastic as a centre back, and I don't think it's his lack of goals. I think it's just the team, really. I mean, we just don't. I actually, to be honest, Mike, you're probably better at this now. I'm not quite sure what the stats are for goals scored this season as compared to last season at the same time. So I might be talking absolute nonsense here.
I haven't
low.
I haven't got the numbers, but it's
so I shouldn't really say too much. But the general sense is that we've been not scoring goals too freely this year. No, so it's been and of course it's.
I mean, our strikers never really score goals, which is why it's always funny to have everyone clamouring for a striker. It's like, what's the point? We've got hundreds of strikers and no one's going to score. It's the way we play. But the goals aren't coming from across the team as well. So this time last year, we had a lot of goals from midfield, a lot of goals from defence. But it's just kind of not happening yet. We are only 10 points worse off than last season at the same stage. And those 10 points would put us in fourth, which is a very similar spot to where we were last season. So it's not that bad, really. And we were at the halfway stage, but I think it's going to get better. But before we go on to that, sorry, guys, Mr. Reliable's penalty. What do we think about Rob's penalty taking? There's not much to say, is it?
No, it's not. Mr. Reliable.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
It's got to be up in the 80%. So I haven't got the numbers for that, but there's very few misses.
Yeah, and also,
I see an opportunity on the podcast. I see an opportunity here on the podcast from Mike for a statistician.
Yeah,
live statistician.
live stats. When I have a question, I need someone to answer it.
Yeah. But yeah, well, thank goodness he scored it though, because it was a shame that we ended up conceding right at the death.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was glad that goal. I'm glad that goal didn't come 5 minutes before it did. That would have been a very unhappy 5 minutes.
Yes.
And when they took the kickoff just after their goal, the Crawley goal, I was very happy when Craig Eastman ballooned it forward. I thought perfect. Just get it possible.
Were we slightly worried at that point when they scored? I know it was like right at the death. Did we think, oh Christ, is there going to be another one? Because it was another late goal, which always puts the wind up at the moment.
No, I took a rather nervy look at the clock, and I thought, could he possibly add 2 more minutes here?
Well, because I was going to have to go down the tunnel and be amongst the Crawley officials. I'd much rather have done that with us having won than us having thrown it all away.
Yeah, absolutely. But it did look to me on. I don't like to say this because I don't know anything about football, as I've clearly said many times. But their striker, the whole defence of the keeper, everyone shaped for him to shoot across goal. And he went slightly the other way, and I was like, did he mishit that? Or did he mean to go there? What do you think?
I couldn't, to be honest, there were various officials in the way where I was, so my view was not impeded. Sorry, was impeded, rather.
David, with the benefit of replays, did you?
I haven't. I can't say I've watched it back too much, but because I was just happy to win. So
fair enough.
But it really looked all right. The goal looked okay. He just hit it hard and it went in.
Yeah, but also because Mike, I think you're on mute.
Thank you for that. That's brilliant. Once again, professional. So on the penalty, did we think it was soft, or I mean, it was right, but it's a dodgy one to give away, wasn't it? I mean, you'd be disappointed with that.
I actually, when I saw the replay, I couldn't actually see what the foul was for. Was there a foul? Was it a little bit of a shunt in the back?
Yeah, it was. The defender was expecting the keeper to come out and claim it, and the keeper kind of just stood there. And because of that, the ball had bounced really high, and our guy Omar got in front, and he kind of ended up just shoving him over. But they
didn't seem to protest too much either. So
they were livid at the goalkeeper, to be fair. But we were saying, I think Joe's goal does come as part of a set piece because it's in the next passage of play. Matt did seem quite happy about our set pieces because he did mention that we've not got as many goals from set pieces this year as he would have wanted. But he has mentioned that a few were cleared off the line, and I mean, one of them he said hit the back of someone's head. It might have been against Gillingham actually, which I think James could tell us in a moment. But our set pieces were clearly better than theirs. Did you see the corner of theirs? It's on Twitter at the moment. Absolutely beautiful. Just not sure what the halfway line. Yeah, not sure what even the outcome was supposed to be, because by the time the keeper's hitting it, everyone's stepping up anyway. So it's like, what was the best outcome of that corner anyway? But if you haven't seen it, go. Steve Grant, Gandamonian and Ivory tweeted it as well. And it's just a beautiful piece.
Some of their goal kicking was less than stellar as well.
Yeah, it wasn't. But anyway,
it just gave me confidence that we would
we'd do something.
If we can't grind out a win here, then
true. So we now move up to 15th.
Mm-hmm.
We're on 29 points from 23 games.
Yep.
So that stats-wise gives us a thing of 58 points, which more than meets our targets. But it's definitely improved the last few weeks. I have noticed, obviously, a lot of people talk about relegation. We're 14 points above the relegation spot. So if people want to talk about the 14 points above the relegation, 14 points the other way is the automatics. So we are absolutely in mid-table. I know it's 15th, but we're mid-table points-wise. How are we feeling sort of going into the next couple of games?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
pretty good. I've never really thought this season there's any chance of relegation. I mean, I think that there are worse teams in the league than us, and I think also that I've got a lot of confidence in this team and the manager, and I think there's too much in the team to get stuck into relegation problems. Really, I think so.
I was worried about all the impact of injuries, but now I am getting possibly a little bit more relaxed. So I reminded myself that was it Norwich were they seventh and ended up getting relegated from the Premier League all those years ago.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think the other one to look at, and again we're being silly, but Bristol Rovers were in a similar position to we are.
Yeah.
Last year, they had a brilliant January transfer window and spent loads of money, but that's not going to happen to us. But you guys know what's coming next. You have a couple of seconds and you need to give me some nominations. So it's the player of the day.
My dance, I'm the player of the day.
That didn't play anywhere near as long as it should have. But never mind, don't worry, we'll move on. So we'll start with you, Chris. Who do you want to go for your first nomination for a player of the day?
I'd say Joe.
Joe?
I thought Joe played the socks off.
Yeah, lovely. And David, your first one?
Well, I'd agree with Chris, but I'm just because we've got to have two names in there. I'd say Craig Eastman.
Yeah, lovely. He's won it so many times this year.
Well, every time I come on here, I always say Craig Eastman. So,
but I don't think he's actually ever won it from a point that we've won the game. I think he's had 2 draws and 4 losses where people have picked him. But your second nomination, Chris?
Well, I would say Dundo because he spent some nice time with Jenny.
Omar
causing trouble.
Penalty. Won a penalty. You could argue set up the first goal.
Yeah.
And David, your second nomination?
Joe.
No, can't have Joe twice.
Okay, can't we have Joe? Sorry, I beg your pardon. And I can't say Omar either.
No.
Okay, all right. Well, in which case, Will Randall.
Will Randall. Love. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, I will stick them on the vote and we will see who wins. I reckon it could be Joe. Although, to be fair, his gift this year is not as good as last year's. I was expecting big things from his goal gift. All he's doing is kind of doing his crying eyes instead of getting out the old clamps. But never mind. He clearly decided he couldn't get the old clamps out again.
It requires less explanations.
Yeah. And his explanation was really boring. Honestly, it was just what was available. Come on, Joe, make up a story at least.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to Sutton United Talk Time on podcast, the Sutton Podcast. If you are new to the show, hello, and you are very welcome. Hope you enjoy what we do. It's a very simple format. We get a few people on to talk about the game that's just gone, and then we preview the next game coming up. We are available on most podcast platforms where you can listen, rate and review. If you find that we're not on your preferred platform, please let me know and I'll sort that for you. If anyone would like to support the podcast, you can find out how with more information on the website, which is www.suttonpodcast.com, and there's a tab where you can find out how to be a guest as well. Please find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok with the username @SuttonPodcast. Every like, follow and share is really appreciated. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
We are going to move on to preview the next match. One of the aforementioned teams that were below us, but hopefully, or expecting to have an exceptional January transfer window, I think. It's James from the ME7 Podcast. Hello, James. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So, mixed mood at the moment, I would imagine.
Yeah, massively. I mean, we were shocking yesterday, quite frankly, and that's been the state of our season. Is that I've been supporting the Gills about 20 years now, and the current set of players that we've got playing for the football club are by far and out the worst Gillingham side I've ever seen. They are, quite frankly, abysmal. We played Colchester yesterday, and bearing in mind Colchester are second bottom, we look miles off it, miles off the rest of the division. And thank God we've got no owners, because we are currently staring the conference in the face. But I'd like to think with the American owners now and a bit of budget behind us and a good manager in Neil Harris, we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, before we get onto your podcast, I mean, you are rock bottom at the moment. So the owners, I mean, they're obviously coming into this with it can't get much worse. So they've obviously got the fan base on side. But yeah, you I think you've played one game less than Colchester, but conceded a load more goals than them. Or your goal difference is a lot worse. It's not necessarily conceded.
Yeah.
So hopes for the future, but tell us a little. You've already gathered, you've been listening in. I'm not very good at this. But tell us a little bit about yourself, about your podcast, and obviously you've mentioned 20 years supporting Gillingham. It's basically, who are you? Sorry, I should have warned you to wait a second. It was supposed to be, who are you?
No, that's fine. Yeah, so basically, obviously James from the ME7 Podcast. We are a Gills fans channel who basically do a weekly show. You'll probably notice that we've not done one for a little while, considering how bad it's been this season. Because to be honest with you, we felt so distant from the football club this season. It's been so hard that quite frankly we in recent weeks have just stopped going. We felt to the point that the players did not even deserve sort of any kind of support. The current crop just don't care. They have no interest in playing for the football club. They're just simply playing for a wage packet. And quite frankly, as damning as it is, they're a disgrace. So yeah, we've not run our channel for a little while because we're sad and upset, and it's just a broken record. But we've run our channel. We've rebranded our channel as such. We used to be the Gills Fancast, but we've gone over to the ME7 Podcast. But in total, we've been a podcast as such for the last 8 or 9 years. We've done it a little while, and we're kind of a weekly show that looks ahead and previews games. And we've had ex-players on, current players and things like that. And I actually spoke to the new owners myself on Friday, who said he would once he sorts things, once he gets into the building and sorts things out, he will come onto the podcast and speak, which is great, which is brilliant. That's all you want. So yeah, that's a little bit about us really. We just do it for the fans. We have different fans on every week. So yeah, a bit like you guys, we do it. We do it for the love of the football club.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're gonna hate all of this. It's just so weird for us because obviously we're at the highest we've ever been. This is like, yay, wonderful dreamland. And sometimes our players don't do very well. Sometimes we get beaten, but at no point do you ever say they just weren't trying. They didn't care. You can't levy that at any of our players at any point. And also the disconnect from the board. It's mental. So, not to you, obviously you dealt with, but to us, I could rock up at the club at any night of the week, and there's going to be a member of the board who you are going to know and be quite happy to have a chat with you. I mean, David, you've supported a long time as well. How do you sort of compare that to Sutton?
Well, we're very fortunate, I think, because we are a pretty happy band, I think. So, I mean, I've listened to quite a lot of the podcast, Mike, and I've been on one or two, and we don't have, sometimes it might make it a bit boring to outsiders, I think, but in general terms, everybody's pretty supportive of the players, of the manager. We're all on the same page, I think. And I think we all recognise that it is what it is, so for our club to be halfway up the league in League Two is an amazing achievement. And it's not realistic to expect that we're going to win every game, and neither is it realistic to slag off players if they have a bad day. So I mean, I think that you can see the effort is there, and the attempt is there, and the hard work is there, and so that's all really we appreciate all that, I think. But it does all sound a bit Alice in Wonderland from the outside, probably. So sorry about this, James. It's probably a bit annoying to listen to us kind of ooze.
On the enthusiasm, I was hearing that from some people at Crawley.
Yeah,
that they were feeling a real disconnect. I mean, obviously they have a bit of they have interesting owners.
Well,
yeah,
they're about to sell their striker to us. In Tom Nichols. Tom Nichols is about to sign for us, which is crazy to think why the hell Tom Nichols would become to Gillingham, but I think it screams of what exactly we're about now. We are going to be a team that goes and throws money at it in January, and I can imagine you're going to see 6 or 7 big faces that you think, wow, how have they gone and got him? Another link that he used to play for us in League One, and he's not kicked a football for Peterborough all years, Ben Thompson. He's another one that is heavily linked. Why the hell would he become to Gillingham at the basement of the Football League? But ultimately, when you've got rich owners that can throw a ton of money at it, they're going to get you out of it. And there's slight thing about it is that could we see another Bristol Rovers from last season where they were sort of relegation spot around Christmas time, weren't they? And they went and got promoted, didn't they? So a lot of fans have sat there and gone, Neil Harris shouldn't be in this job. But for me, why the hell shouldn't he be? Because he's been given a squad of players that definitely he didn't want. And he's gone and done it with Millwall. He's gone and done it with Cardiff. He's a good name at this level. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see a Gillingham team in a couple of days' time that you'll probably think, oh, they're no good. And the current crop you'll have no problem beating.
Say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Last time out,
I was about to say the reverse fixture at Priestfield. You're one of the only sides that we went and beat.
Yeah, I think I can't work out the percentages, but we're something like 18% of all your league goals are scored against us with the one goal. But I mean, I normally ask for how the season so far is going, so you kind of covered that, and the highs and lows. You covered a lot of lows. I'm guessing the high is the news from was it? Yeah. Was it Boxing Day or Christmas Day that you?
It was the 23rd, 24th, sort of. Yeah. But look, this has been rumours for a long time that Brad and Shannon Gallison are the new owners of the football club. It's a husband and wife, and a little bit of backstory for anyone that's sort of interested is that they are real estate agents from America. Brad owns quite a few properties out in the States that are worth in excess of about £2 to £3 billion. So he is a multi-billionaire. It's him and his wife that have done their backstory on us. They brought out a video just a few days back to introduce themselves to the Gillingham supporters, and what really come out of that video is that they've done their research on us. They found out that we are a real family and community football club. We've got a real heritage, because believe it or not, we were a championship club. We were a championship club for 5 to 6 years, and we've got a real good sort of history. The catchment area of Kent is massive. We're not too far from London, so it's promising for a businessman to want to come in.
Exactly.
There's rumours of the fact of a new ground is on the horizon. We've been told in coming days from various people that we know that the town end is going to come down at the end of the season, and there's going to be a new stand there. All of the comments from we've heard from Brad and Shannon are positive. They want to come in. They want to put their money where it is. But he mentioned just on social media the other couple of days that he wants to bring in a new director of football. He wants to bring in new sponsorship. He wants to communicate with the fans properly. He wants to do all the things that you want to hear as a football club. But this has been in the makings of about 2 to 3 months now, and I'm so glad it's happened. I actually got quite emotional about it a couple of days ago, because we were in trouble. We were in trouble because we had a transfer embargo about to come in. We were 1,000 million% in the conference had this not happened. We are by far away currently the worst team in the Football League. And so had Brad and Shannon not come in and saved us, we were in trouble. We were in trouble big time. And not only were we in trouble on the pitch, we were in trouble off it.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing with it, is that I'm so thankful and so glad that they've come in and saved us. Because we didn't have a football club. We wouldn't have had a football club. So, look, by all means, it's great having the money, but it's how you use it now. And so I just pray to God that Neil gets it right in January. He goes and gets the players that he so dearly wants. But on the flip side, some players that he might want might look at it and go, "You're 24th in League Two. I'm not sure I want this." That's the thing, isn't it?
Well, they might have to do what I think Wrexham have found, going from the excellent Disney Plus documentary about they might have to pay a bit of a premium to get players, because on Welcome to Wrexham they've said that it would actually cost them less to be in League Two because they have to pay more money to attract people into the National League. And so there might be a little bit of that. So you might have to kind of like overpay to sort of like get people to kind of like come and have a try. But I mean, I must say, I really do wish you well. And also, because I have another allegiance. My other club is Plymouth Argyle, and I remember quite a few Gillingham fans would come over, as well as Brighton fans, to Argyle when we were in real financial trouble, looked like we're going out of business. And also Argyle over the last year or so have been bought out by an American businessman, though that he grew up in Plymouth, so has those links. But that's going well. So I very much hope that the same happens for Gillingham.
Obviously, outside of Thursday night, we don't want this current group of players going, we're playing for our contracts, we're playing for a move somewhere else.
To be honest, though, Mike, I honestly don't think they care. I do not think they give. That I don't think they don't care. They're not bothered, because this making Harris has known for a long time that this new ownership was coming. And so had these players, I'm presuming he would have told the players, he would have used it in a team talk. He would have said exactly what you've just said, that you're playing for your futures, you're playing for your contracts. And so they would have been trying weeks ago, and they've not bothered. They've not bothered, and it's their own fault. It's their own problem, is that half of them are now going to go and get replaced in January. And I don't care. I don't care about them. Good riddance. I'm glad they will go off, because the problem is as well for them is that they're not going to go and get a contract elsewhere, because a lot of managers are going to look at them and go, well, hang on a minute, you've come from 24th in League Two. Why am I going to want you?
Exactly, yeah.
Some of them might be at Sutton next year. Look at Sam Hart, who's been relegated 2 seasons on the trot, and then he rocks up at the half play.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, please don't make it a hat trick.
It sounds like an attitude thing. I don't think Matt will have it.
No, Matt wouldn't have an attitude. No.
But gents, I've taken up loads of your time. David's already disappeared from the screen, so he's either got connection issues or he just wasn't interested anymore. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah. No, thanks everyone for listening. We will be back on.
Are we going to do score
Friday.
Predictions? Or
if you want to do a score prediction, I didn't think James wanted to.
Well, I don't want to put James through it.
I was like, I didn't want to do that.
I don't want to be cruel to James.
You rub it in. Go on, no worries. Get a little bit of vinegar and salt on that.
Sorry, no.
I'll start off. I'll go 1-0 Sutton.
Okay. Right. I'll go 2-0 Sutton. However, James, last time I was on here, I got it completely. Well, actually, I got it right, didn't I? Because did I say that we were going to lose? And we did.
I don't
AFC in the Papa John.
In the Papa John, yeah. Anyway, right, cheers for that. The only predictions we've got right is a loss. Well, that's good. But yeah, I'll be similar. I don't think it's going to be a very exciting, high-scoring game. I think the under 2.5 market will be paying out.
Yeah. Well, I've got a mate coming along. It's only going to be his second ever Sutton game. His first was the Papa John's final.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
I have told him that it's probably not going to be like that.
Not going to be quite as exciting. No. And it's a 7:45 kickoff. And that extra few minutes, I'm like, damn, it's going to be even colder. That's not all right. But yes, I will be back on Friday, and I'm going to be joined by Joe and the nephew Josh. He's going to get a right to reply of all the abuse I've given him the last few weeks. So that should be interesting, especially as he won't be in the same room as me. He's going to be safe from a distance. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for your time, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weird in-between period. And see you soon. And James, hopefully you start to get to enjoy your football in the next few
Thank you very much. All the best for the season, guys.
Take care. Thank you.
Cheers.
United!